Hi, welcome to Just Out of Curiosity, a podcast that talks about sex and sexuality from the lens of a sex-positive brown woman that has a fascination with alternative or non-conventional lifestyles. My name is Shelly D, and I am that sex-positive brown woman. Over the course of several episodes, I'm excited to dive into topics that titillate my interests and make me ask my guests questions, just out of curiosity. And so, my curiosity today leads to girls and gays. We have fabulous relationships. What is it about girls and gays that just works? I've been called a fag hag by many a gay, but I've equally been told it's offensive by others. Is it? Why do some people not like this term? Who else could I talk about this other than with my gay bestie, John? He's also been my biggest support for this podcast and my sidekick extraordinaire. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hay's for horses.
John will be this episode's special guest. Welcome.
Welcome yourself, girl. How you doing?
I'm so excited and so great at the same time.
Awesome. We're finally doing this, and I'm thrilled to be be part of this experience of popping your cherry.
Yes. Who doesn't like having their cherry popped? So I met you in university. We walked into a classroom, and you were sitting front row, which I never sit front row. And you were this loud, social, like you knew everyone, this laugh, this smile, like everything. And I wanted you. And I was just like, I don't care what's going to happen. I'm going to make you be friends with me.
But like, I think what cemented our friendship, or like one of the many things that cemented our friendship, was like, you were just so badass and you were like open to just like the bullshit that I was up to. So like, I'm like in a computer lab at like 9 o'clock in the morning and 9 p.m. and you were like focused on working something. And I was asking you, so Shelly, what's your type, right? So like you were telling me like what kind of people you're into. And then suddenly you discovered that I've created like a profile for you on like
gay.com.
Gay.com, that's what it was. And you know what though? So like when I came, we both graduated in like 2006, 2007 or so. Then I took off for Japan for 2 years.
Yes.
And then I came back and I'm like, okay, I'm desperate for friends because I just had this incredible communal experience out in Japan with all the foreigners. Came back and I was just like, okay, I need friends. And then Shelly, you fucking took off for Korea for like a year
for
or
2
two.
years.
For 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw you once and then I went to Korea.
I'm like, all right, see you.
Bye.
But I was all like, I get that you need to go. You have to have this experience. I'm fucking sad that you're going. You took off and then you came back and I'm like, all right, my Shelly's back. It's what, 2013 at this point?
Yeah. Well, I came back in 2012. So
2012, there you go.
About the same time.
12, 13, yeah. And then that's where we started hanging out a little bit, like little by little.
Drag Race brought us together.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You were jealous. You and your partner were jealous of the other gay and his partner that I was watching Drag Race with.
Yes.
And then I decided, well, let me see if you guys are available for the next season.
Right.
And then it went like bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like bread and butter, like curry on rice. Can we say that?
Curry on rice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're the brown girl. Of course you can.
Yeah. Curry's so great. It's spicy and delicious. Like me.
I'll too.
So, okay, you're gay.
What?
Yeah, did you know?
Shut the fuck up. Yes. This is a fact.
This is going to be such a weird and random question, but I feel like you are a great person to answer this question. What qualifies you to be gay?
I think that's an interesting question.
Isn't it?
Like what qualifies people to be straight? That they're, I don't know, part of the majority and society like is suited to their heterosexual normativity. So I guess what qualifies me as gay is, you know, someone who doesn't want to be with, like, I'm a guy who can have sex with women if I want to, but I don't want to because I'm not attracted to women in that way, right?
How did you, sorry for cutting you off,
yeah, please.
But like at what point did you realize that, you know, this wasn't working for you? What I have wasn't working for you? Yeah, no,
I hard but good question. So like, I think out of the womb, I knew that like I was, you know, like I have a very strong and charismatic father who's very much a heteronormative macho man who instills a lot of like, even at when I was 4 years old, my dad's like, make sure like you will be with a woman. And so like that was fed to me, right? And I felt like that's what I should be doing, and I didn't buy into it. But I also knew I like, as Filipinos say, I like titi. Like,
Wait,
as
what is titi?
titi? Like what this microphone looks like, you know.
Currently, there's a sock on that microphone with a naked. Well, I was gonna say naked skeleton, but a skeleton is naked.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, I didn't
Korean.
even notice the.
Oh, there's a little heart on it.
안녕하세요. Yeah, no, I didn't. Oh, sorry. What does that mean?
Kyupta is cute.
Oh, cool.
In Korean, yeah.
Kyupcha, like
Kyupta.
kawaii. Kyupta.
Yeah.
Kyupta.
네.
Very cool. 네. Yeah. So like my dad was just very much like, Jonathan, you're going to like this because this is what's expected of you, you know, as a kid. And that's the message I got. And there was some resistance, but I also knew gutturally, viscerally, like I also like guys. And eventually through trial and tribulation throughout my childhood and throughout my teens, you know, I called myself bi, but you know, as they also say, bi now, gay later, girl.
I actually really like that.
You haven't heard that before?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Because like, you know, it's obviously an easier pill to swallow if you call yourself bi rather than gay, right? So I was just like, all right, I'm bi. So I actually went on a couple dates with girls telling myself, yeah, I'm bi. I'm cool with girls. But
Interesting.
But sure enough, I was like, no, I'm forcing this. Like, I give me the D.
Yeah.
Give me the D. So long-winded way to say that, yeah, I think that qualifies me for being gay.
Yeah, I think that's...
My attraction to penis. And,
I definitely think that that makes sense. I know that this is going to sound like a very common sense question, but do you think you were born gay? I feel like that's I shouldn't even ask that question anymore.
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. Like I think another way to frame that is that nurture is nature, and like for me, like I think that so many gay men or gay people rather have a lot of nurture shoved down their throats, literally, to force them to not be gay. Ooh. But then nature fucking says, fuck that.
Interesting.
Take your conversion therapy, take your heteronormativity, take all the patriarchy that's shoved down your throat.
And Christian family values too.
Christian family values or whatever messaging around the world that tells you that you need to be straight. And all that nurture that has designed me to be a faggot.
Yeah.
Guess what, girl?
There
Hey.
you are.
Sorry, is your mic's like spiking? Is that mic?
Whatever, it's fine. We're excited about this. It's really interesting when you say that, because when we went to university, and that was about 20 years ago, homosexuality was, I think it's a little bit more than 20 years ago, but when we were taught about what homosexuality was, it was still a discussion of whether it was nature versus nurture. And you talking about what you just said, it feels like the straight population that wanted to control homosexuality, and that they used this topic of nature versus nurture, but it was nature that it was nurture that was suppressing you from being gay.
That's right. Like, in other words, by nurture would be society, social constructs. You know, bullshit from media, from the church, from family, from whatever.
And it was a debate from schools that were like, homosexuality could be a learned behavior.
Yeah.
But what was really happening was straightness was more a learned behavior. Or it wasn't...
For me, it's a learned behavior.
Yes,
Absolutely. Yeah.
It suppresses you.
Right. And it's also part of the majority, right? And as part of a majority, society, social constructs, bake that shit in.
Yeah.
You know? White privilege, patriarchy,
toxic masculinity, all these ideologies.
All that shit is baked into society, right? So when
is.
you're outside of that, like, it's, you know, that's shoved down your throat, but it's not nature. It's not natural for me to you know, be straight. So, yeah, it is what it is. But, you know, I don't speak for all gay men. I try not to anyways, but I am what I am, and, you know, I'm grateful for being in Canada in 2022, where there's been so much development, and I stand on the shoulders of gay men, gay activists, lesbians, trans people in between, who've really fought for Canadian society to be where it is right now. So where I can scream into a dick microphone and tell people that I'm a faggot, right? So it's pretty brilliant. So,
Yeah, especially for there was a time when when faggot was a terrible word, a derogatory term, and it was a way to put people down.
Right.
And you've kind of just reclaimed it, which is so lovely.
I do recognize that people who are listening may not have heard the word faggot be screamed, so proudly. And I do use it and I do recognize that it might hurt people's ears and be quite shocking. But and to your point, like I use it with a sense of reclamation, with pride, fuck that. If people want to use the word faggot in a derogatory way, then I say thank you.
Oh, hey.
Hey!
Yes.
Sorry.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay, so on this topic,
yeah.
I mean, we're going to get into like what fag hag means, but at the heart of it, there is something about girls and gays and probably everything else in between that have this special kind of affinity towards each other.
Yeah.
And I mean,
spoiler alert, it's the dick.
Okay, wait. Now, this is going to be a weird question to ask, and I don't know if you can answer this for me, but lesbians and gays, are they as close as they don't necessarily have a love for the D, but are they as close as straight girls and gays?
No, that's an excellent question. I think that while gays and lesbians share a lot of similar journeys, for me personally, I don't have a lot of lesbian friends. I have like very few, frankly, but I have far more closer female friends who go on, and who have affinity for certain shapes that look like microphones.
Yeah,
right?
like the CN Tower and all those other. I mean, it's everywhere. Phallic structures.
Well, I can't fit the CN Tower. I could try.
Neither can I, and I don't want to. I am not a size queen by any nature.
Yeah. But to your point about just like having women in our lives for gay men, like for me, women embody something that I'm not, that I'm drawn to. Like as a gay man, I love femininity. I love the energy of women. I love powerful women. I like, as much as I'm not sexually drawn to it, I love the sensuality of women. I love, like, I was obsessed with drawing beautiful Grecian women on the chalkboard of my grade 5 classroom. And my teacher would like rub that out and was like, Jonathan, stop idealizing women like that. And I'm like, all right. And then go off and do this more, right? Like, yeah, from the core, from like my nurture side, from my nature side, I love women, right? And so I think part of the reason I'm drawn to you from linguistics class is because you have that energy. You have what I am drawn to.
Yeah.
And so... And like, not to say that this applies equally across all gay men, but just thinking of like classic tropes in media, like, what's that show? Will and Grace, and like other, I guess they're the only real trope for like gay men and their fag hags, if you will. But like, yeah, there's just such a compatibility that you see work so well. Like us.
Like us, yeah. I from all the other women in your life, and I'm not, as much as I love to pretend that I'm the best woman in your life, like, is there, you're not, I don't want to say this in a way that's going to put anyone down, but you're not just attracted to any woman.
I'm not attracted to like basic girls. I love women who own their sexuality, their sensuality, like, I think part of the reason, like the same reason that I'm drawn to men, there's this confidence like I'm drawn to people with a certain awareness and confidence themselves. Like you are very aware of your sensuality, your sexuality, your appearance, the way you carry yourself. I'm not drawn to women who don't have those qualities, frankly, right? So
yeah, so it's specific characteristics for both, because I would say the same for me. I'm not, while I've picked up many a gay in my lifetime, I feel like there's only a specific type, or maybe it's like with anyone, there's certain people that I just have natural affinity towards, and I love a person that owns their sexuality and owns who they are in their most authentic self.
Oh, totally.
And sometimes I think that's what really, like, gays and girls, we are the girls that gays are friends with, I would say. We have become through somehow, and I'm probably, again, we can throw out the tropes of like patriarchy and toxic masculinity. We have learned to live within it and still be our own person and not be defined by all the things that have not been on our side. And so when it comes to why, like, certain men that I'm attracted to in general, I'm such a fan of people that are unapologetically them. And I find that gay men hold that the most.
Interesting.
And I truthfully though, I think it's because you've had to distinguish yourself. But when you look at what the patriarchy is, and there's that hierarchy of who is at the top and who benefits the most from that model, it is that straight cisgendered male, typically white, typically has money, they come from a higher socioeconomic status, and then you have the trickle down effect of like different skin colors, different able-bodied, all this stuff, intersectionality, and then you have gay men, which I think you still benefit from patriarchy, but you're at almost not the bottom, but you're towards the bottom because
bottom where? Sorry. But go on. Sorry.
I like to consider myself more versed. Thanks. But because of that, you still have to, you have to find yourself. You have to be in society. So you've learned that you don't need patriarchy. You don't need that guy at the top to define who you are. You have carved that out for yourself. Right.
I think though, it's interesting though. Like I said that it was interesting the way that you framed it, because like gay guys also I totally agree with you that gay guys do benefit from male privilege and the patriarchy, because as much as we've been, you know, on the outs with like toxic masculinity and, you know, men should look a certain way, gay men never have to worry about all the challenges that women have. We don't have to pay for feminine hygiene products. We don't have to pay more for their hair that women do, unless, you know, some gay guys do, but that's besides the point. There are many things within our society or privileges that I have as a man that I never have to deal with.
Yeah, I think even just having a male name on paper probably gets your resume in more than it would with mine. Yeah, even small little things, because sometimes I still don't think that. You probably see it more than I do, because I don't even notice some of the things that negatively affect me being a woman in a patriarchal society. Like, I don't even think about like the pink tax, you know, that tax for like having a pink razor. My razors, women razors, cost more than male razors. I forget that sometimes. Stupid. It's so weird. And then there's the feminine hygiene stuff, and how we put down women for PMSing. If they're bitchy, then, you know, they're on their period, but that's just, men are bitchy too. Why don't we ever say they're on their period? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Like, we do say, but like, it's almost like a joke, whereas like, if I say that you're on your period, it's almost a slap of face. Yeah. Right?
I'm not allowed to show up to work bitchy one day. God forbid.
It's so lame.
But
you know what though? I think that, what bonds gay, and maybe another reason that like gay guys and girls bond so well together is because there's just, there's such a great opportunity to feel comfortable, and I don't think I've been able to. Yeah, so go ahead.
No, it's because I think that as a woman, I just want to be seen for who I am. I don't want to be defined as a potential mother. I don't want to be defined as someone's daughter. I don't want to be defined as someone's wife. I want to be defined for me. I want people to see me and who I am. I'm not just boobs. I'm not just butt. I'm not just like brown skin, long hair. Like, I want to be seen for who I am. And I feel like I am seen by gay men. And I feel like there's a safe space too, right? Yes. Like, I can be my crazy self and I feel zero judgment.
Right.
And even if you do judge me, it doesn't bother me as much than when women judge me in the same respects, or when straight men judge me in the same respect, because it almost feels like I'm being held back.
Right.
But with you and you specifically, but you, like gay men, I feel celebrated. And that is one of the nicest. Like, I can't tell you how it feels to be celebrated and loved, and to feel seen and to feel heard.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing I've ever wanted. And sorry, I'm going to say one more thing. Yeah. I'm 38 and I still get asked questions all the time about why I'm single, if I want to be single, if I'm happy being single. And there are days when I hate being single and I wish that I had someone else. But the thing that makes me the happiest
is the fact that I have my gay friends.
Oh, Shelly.
It's like I'm not necessarily single because I
Yeah.
have you guys in my life, and
You're fam to us, right?
exactly.
Like me and my partner, like you're family to us.
I'm almost like I'm your third. I'm your tuple. And I being sister wives with you, like it's sure I'm single, but if I wasn't single, I don't think I would be able to have these relationships and these friendships as strong as I have.
Right.
So it's such a nice feeling. It's the best feeling. I love being seen.
Oh, I really, while that's an amazing thought, and I will get back to that. I just have to get back to the whole like you being celebrated thing. So like for people who don't know either of us, when Shelly walks into a room,
I don't know.
wait, hang on. When
Sure.
Shelly walks into any room. With a regular distribution of gay and straight people, right? Like it's just Shelly walking into a room. When Shelly walks into a gay bar, there's like, I don't know, she like emits pheromones or something that like alerts like on a subconscious level, the gays go, there's this amazing woman here. I'm gonna go over and talk to her, right? So like Hanlon's Island. I'm sorry, Hanlon Beach.
Hanlon's Point.
Why am I blanking on the name?
It's okay. Hanlon's.
Which is often frequented. Like one portion of the beach is frequented with many scantily clad gays.
Clothing optional.
Clothing optional. Shelly is revered like a demi goddess. She is like I don't know, like Cleopatra being passed around from one gay to the next because she's pouring booze in people's mouths. She's making out with the gays. She's slapping asses.
I am so in my element.
She is so 100%.
Yeah.
She is celebrated. She is in her element. And going back to my earlier point about like her projecting this energy that the gays love. Aww. And it's vice versa, like it's mutual, right? So like I think that connecting it back to the like perhaps like I'm talking it up too much, but like for me being drawn to you and other strong, confident women, it comes down to comfort.
Yes.
So like I like as a gay man who's had to like adapt to you know a straight heterosexual world. You know, we've had to wear many faces, right? I have to like when I walk into a room full of straight guys, right? Like my voice drops and you know, I have to I unconsciously
the Butch John comes out.
Butch John comes on, hey, I did some deadlifts today. How are you guys doing? Yeah, so I have to adapt. You know, I feel like, you know, there are certain ways that I need to behave. But when I'm with Shelly, when I'm with my female friends, that goes out the window and I could be the biggest faggot that I want without the judgment of other fags, right?
Agreed.
Like I could just like fuck around, talk about dicks, like watch Drag Race, be in the presence of fabulous tits, you know, and like they're not being sexualized. It's just lovely. It's like yin and yang without the pressure of sexuality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does.
Awesome.
And I'm the same way because even when I'm with my straight friends or with my female friends, I mean, I'm a very outgoing person and I know, it's crazy, right? I have tendencies of saying things that most people wouldn't. I know, another shocker. I'm very blunt and direct, but sometimes I feel like I have to filter myself when I'm with my straight friends because it might be a little bit too much for them to handle.
Yeah.
And there's just like, it's a sigh of relief when I'm with you and my gays. Just I can say whatever, and sometimes I can say the most ridiculous thing, and all you'll do is laugh. Or you'll one up me, and it's like great. I feel like I can be my most ridiculous self, and it's perfectly fine.
So, question to you. Yeah. So, with that said, I know that you have friends that are not gay. Surprise, surprise.
Really, I do.
How would you qualify those relationships? So like your friendships with like other straight girls, your friendships with heterosexual straight men. Sorry, that's redundant, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I try to be who I am with you as opposed to with my straight friends, with my female friends. it's a different kind of connection. It's almost like how you have different friend groups. And I feel like I've always done this my entire life. Like I have my family and I have a relationship with them. And then I had like people that I met in television and media. And then I had a specific type of relationship with them. And we could talk about certain things that I couldn't talk about with you.
Yeah.
And then I had my gay friends and I could talk about certain things that I couldn't necessarily talk about with them. Like I talk Drag Race all the time with you and I wouldn't necessarily talk Drag Race with my straight friends.
Sure.
But there are other things that also like there's these ties. And I try to bring them all together. But I can't necessarily be really crude and crass talking about sex with my straight friends and my male friends. And sometimes, you know,
Really? I actually find that surprising.
I try, but I think the problem with me being single is that, especially with straight men, there's always that thought in the back of my head, if I say something too flirty and too suggestive, maybe they want to have sex with me.
Oh, they'll
And
interpret
then-
it as an in. And
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
her guard is down. She gave me the green flag.
Yeah.
I gotta stick it in now.
Oh my God, this girl's talking to me about sex. Why wouldn't I? I have to. And then they start liking me. And it's the one thing I hate because the one thing that I've always, since the time I was a kid is I identified or I had an affinity towards men.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. I had a lot of male cousins. I also just thought that girls were really boring. I looked around at, and to no offense to them now, because I think they're really strong and resilient now, but when I was a kid, I thought that women were boring. I didn't want to be in the kitchen cooking and cleaning all the time. I wanted to be with my uncles and talking and drinking and joking around and not, like, I thought that was so much fun. I wanted to play with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters and He-Man. So I always wanted to be friends with boys, but the struggle with that, I don't necessarily think I'm the hottest girl in the room, but I am attractive, and it sucks when you want to be friends with a guy, but he wants to have more than that with you.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, it's like I always have walls up when it comes to straight men, and I try really hard to make those sex jokes, and I do, and if someone like it's. I'm trying to think of like where I work right now, because there's a lot of men that I work with, and I do make those jokes, and I do hope that at the end of the night they're not thinking maybe I could have sex with her. I actually forgot the question that you asked me.
No, that's fine. No,
As I digressed on this whole thing.
It's so fascinating. No, and it turns back, right? So like, I think what I was fishing for. No, you know what? This is all to say. I'm gonna sum up what you're saying. This is all to say that Shelley feels more comfortable with her fags, with her gays, than with straight guys, because they're just busy trying to stick their dicks
zone.
into her aisle 2.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how I've started calling your pussy your aisle 2, but I'm sticking with it.
What would be aisle 1?
Your back. Side.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. For me, aisle 1 is up here. Aisle 2 is the exit hole. Thank you. Aisle 3 could be my mouth. We're done. Aisle 1 is the lady bits, is my happy parts.
So the natural question is, are you open 24/7? Is the Walmart open for 24/7?
Listen, if she's happy and she's all lubricated on her own, I'm open and ready to go whenever.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about friendships and how they and how we relate to people that are other than us.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's this term called fag hag.
Okay. Yeah, which we've thrown very loosely in around a whole bunch.
We have.
Yeah.
I don't actually know. This should have been done in my research, but I don't know where that, like, the etymology of that word came from.
Okay.
I'm curious though, because fag is, at one point, was a derogatory term used for gay men, and hag was a derogatory term used for, it was just a specific type of woman. Did you know what hag actually referred to before you used the term fag hag?
It's almost like two negatives make a positive.
Yeah.
I think, right? So like in my mind, and probably people who are listening, right? Fag, faggot, derogatory for a gay man or a gay person. Hag, ugly old woman,
fat,
or woman who's fat and undesirable.
Yeah.
But I think they
came together so well.
It came together, I think, excuse me, possibly from a gay person or maybe a non-gay person. But for me, whenever I use the word fag hag, my intention is always with love, and it's almost like a campy twist to it. So like, oh, this is my fag hag, right? She's like, she's my girl. I'm the fag. She's the hag.
Yeah.
It's my fag hag.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a little like it's a like knowing that these words are derogatory.
Yeah.
And to reclaim it, I think is a bit of a fuck you to society.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's an ally, as someone who takes action and identifies as part of our community.
I struggle with it too. Like I
Tell me
remember,
why.
I remember when you've called me a fag hag. I've been called a fag hag by a number of people, and
by your fags.
by my fags. in case you didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine with it at the beginning, and then I think as I became older and started like becoming empowered and getting really into feminism, I started getting really upset that the intention behind the word hag was just a completely like negative view of what I should be.
Okay.
And then I was just like, I don't, and this is sometimes my issue with certain things that get brought up in gay culture sometimes, like calling drag queens fishy, right? Like fishy was just a really negative word for my vagina. Like it was a way that men used to make fun of us because it smelled like a fish, it tasted like a fish. It actually had a lot of shame for me in that aspect. And then you see these drag queens dressing up, and the more feminine they were being fishy. It was that, and it was triggering to me being a feminist,
Right.
being able to say like, no, I think that you should change the words that you use. But then in the same case, like you talk about reclaiming words that were once taken down, like they pushed us down, they held us
Right.
down. And we want to say, no, fuck that. Like, I want to, you can't put me down for being something different. So I'm going to take that word that you called me, and I'm going to embrace it. And I'm going to be the biggest, fullest meaning of that word. And I'm going to show everyone that there's nothing wrong with that.
That's awesome.
And that's where I am right now with it.
Yeah.
And there's been at one point when I was channeling my inner fag hag, I was in Korea, and that was when I really took flight. Like something in me just bloomed. Like I don't know where they all came from, but they all just started coming.
It's the bacteria from the kimchi. I don't know. It probably triggered some I don't know.
I don't know,
some
man.
blossoms,
I have no
and it turns into
idea.
this fully formed level 3 Pokemon fag hag.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I evolved.
Ooh,
It was
you
Pokemon.
evolved. There we go.
I evolved in Korea. That's what it was. I went from like level 1, because it was just you and Chris at the time.
Right.
And then I went to like level 4, and I didn't know how to handle it. And I would just call myself a fag hag in front of people. And some of my, I remember one of my straight male friends, he was just like, you can't say that. And I was like, why? And I was just like, but they've called me this, so I can
Right.
use that word. And I understood why he was a little bit like politically correct. I can't
Right.
say these things. But then he was like, no, let's come up with a different word. And I feel like there is this term for us, which I actually hate more. He was like, what about like fruit flies? Like you attract them like fruit flies. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, did you just call me a piece of rotted fruit?
Oh, and did you call them fruity?
I mean, is
Right.
that, well,
You know what? I think that like it's so important to know who is doing the calling,
Right.
Because it also denotes the position of power, right?
yeah.
So
And I think that's a very straight male way of looking at it, fruit flies.
right, totally. And I think that like the voice of who's doing the identification denotes the power, right? So like when we're talking about reclamation of a certain word like fag,
Yeah.
if a heterosexual guy is calling me a faggot, that's taking power away from me, right?
Right.
But if I'm calling myself a faggot, if I'm calling, my girls, my gay guys that I hang out, other faggots, right? Like we're embracing the identity. We're playing with something that's been
Yes.
so pejorative to something
Yeah,
that we take
speaking.
with, right? So like to call yourself a fruit fly could.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily be the fruit fly.
Right.
Yeah. It was just like a weird term. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, all
there,
good. But like for your straight friend to say you should call yourself, or like suggest that you should call yourself a fruit fly, I think diminishes the word because it's coming from someone who's outside of the circle or
Yes.
from the culture, right? But like for you to call yourself, I don't know, apple pie, right? It's like whatever. Shelly can call herself fucking apple pie.
Yeah,
know?
and you're the sugar that lies on top of me.
Hey,
That was weird.
cinnamon. I prefer cinnamon.
Yes.
Yeah. So with that said, I think that it also boils down into intention and impact, right? So like while I have called you, sorry, no, I think I'm shifting a little bit, but like while I can call you a fruit fly and my intentions are good,
Yeah.
while and even though like this is the same word, a straight guy calls you a fruit fly or apple pie or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the word is, or like, sorry, it doesn't matter what the intention is. What matters is how it impacts you,
Right.
Because like if the word is triggering, then that's a problem, right? But if you take that as something that is empowering, then you're taking away the pejorative meaning to it, or you're embracing the good intentions of it, right? So like,
Yeah.
I think that the impact is really, really important, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, it is. It's true. It's something that I never thought about, because I also think when you get triggered by something, it's an issue that you have with yourself.
Yeah.
And then you just have to figure out, why is it triggering me, and what can I do to either stop it, or am I just going to let it keep triggering me? And I know that I've asked you and your partner to stop calling me a fag hag, but at the same time, a part of me is just like, let that shit go. I can't, I don't want to like live in this world where like, I'm just going to keep getting triggered by something that I don't like because of its misogynistic roots. Man, if you can trace misogyny back all the way around, but like, at what point do I stop living in that and just be okay? It's what you said, intention versus impact, right? Like I know that you don't have, or anything that you say to me is not really intentionally negative. And I would never take anything that you say to me like as a negative thing. And I have to just get over myself.
Well, I'm not sorry. Maybe
no. I know it's no. You're not. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm cutting you off. But like it's. I don't want you to ever think anything negative about that. It's just I can't help being triggered by something.
Sure.
And
sure.
I can either choose to live within it, and I at that moment with you and I decided to live within it.
Right.
And then as I was actually doing research for this, it was just like, well, listen, if we're gonna take these two negative terms, because we are both lying on the outskirts of society, like there's a reason why that word existed, and why it is that it is such a thing. I should just try to embrace it.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know.
Like sorry, perhaps I didn't explain intention and impact well, but like,
did I just bastardize that whole thing?
No. I think that like the impact is so much more important than intention. Like I could have like the best intentions, but if it triggers you, then I need to like fucking check myself.
Right.
So like a parallel to that, right? So like I know someone who taking this tone. So I know someone who complimented another woman for being so articulate. Oh, there's that word articulate, right? And that woman just so happened to be a black woman. And so she was just like, excuse me, did you just call me articulate?
Yeah.
The intention was to compliment her, but the impact was like, oh, are you feeding into a stereotype that black women are not articulate? Fuck you with your compliment, right?
Yeah.
So the intent was good, the impact was fucking terrible,
Okay,
right?
I get it, yes.
So the parallel here is my intent was, compliment you as my fag hag, right? But if it triggers you, then I need to check myself.
Yeah, but I think that was also the point that I was trying to make, is that I have gone to therapy. I love therapy. And the one thing that therapy has taught me is that you have to look at yourself and why certain things matter to you. And if I am getting triggered by something, why am I getting triggered by it? And I think it was just that disconnect between me being a feminist, or me thinking like, I'm going to break I'm going to break free of all these things about patriarchy that have been so negative towards me. And I'm going to free myself from the misogynistic bonds of men and all this other stuff. I don't want to be called a hag by other men. Like, no. But then like, I understand that your intention is good. And there are certain things that, like you can take that into yourself and be like, I want to work on this and be better. I don't want this to affect me. I need to figure out if this really does bother me, why it bothers me. And am I going to continue to let it bother me, or am I going to understand that you are not coming from a bad place saying this to me, and I should evolve with that. Right. So you can live within your own insecurities, or you can choose to work through them. Right. And in that case with me, I understood that connection, and I decided that I was not going to let my negativity or my insecurities be triggered by you, because that's not on you. and we've had this conversation. Now we're actually continuing to have this conversation. So I feel
yeah.
like we've evolved a little
sure.
bit.
I love that. I love that about us. Always evolving. I can't wait for level 5.
Is there anything else that we might not have talked about at this moment?
You know who's actually the best, most realistic gay, like fag and fag hag duo that's completely under the radar?
Oh, tell me.
I'm gonna butcher their names, but did you ever watch Mean Girls?
Yes.
So there's Damien and
Oh, what's her name?
they're the fucking most realistic fag and fag hag combo ever, right? Because like you could see that they take refuge in each other. They don't ever actually get in each other's throats. Like that was me and my best friend in high school, right? They're both rife with insecurity.
Yes.
But like they get each other
Yes.
and like they take refuge and they have to deal with everyone else's bullshit in high school.
I feel like there's something that's so we don't want to be on the outskirts of society. We just want to be like the cool kids, but there's something that makes us such unique and dynamic people being on the outskirts.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would ever want to be anything but.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find out. Oh, Janice.
Janice!
Yes! Damien and Janice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we'll be the POC version of them.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Can we do that for Halloween?
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yes!
We would both wear pink or something. I don't know. No.
You definitely
not the
have to
plastics.
wear.
Yeah.
You definitely have to wear a sweater. Like, you know how Damien wears that purple sweater and he just like covers himself up when he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll Photoshop myself like that one
I
day.
can channel my inner
Janice.
90s emo, like
So
that
good.
with the butterfly clips and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are the best fag and fag hag couple.
I
That
agree
comes to
with
mind.
you, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really like that one. I truthfully never watched Will and Grace because I
they
wasn't a
were
fan of like being that stereotypical gay people.
Totally.
I just was like, no, I think there's so much more to gayness than
Right.
this, than who was Sean? What was his? So
Sean
you had
Hayes?
Will and Grace, yeah, Sean Hayes, and then
And Karen.
yes,
Yeah.
Sean. What was Sean's character name?
Just Jack.
Jack.
Jack
Oh,
and- Jack and Karen.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought there was so much more than just Jack, and I never watched it.
Right. They were pretty like I'm grateful for the representation that they
Right.
brought.
Yes.
And the laughs, but like they were very two-dimensional characters.
Okay.
Whereas I dare I say Janice and Damien have
they're
they're so
complex.
much more realistic, so on the ground, and relatable.
I feel like, yeah, those characters were written by people who knew what that was like, whereas I feel like maybe straight people wrote Will and Grace.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
Me neither.
I'm hypothesizing at this moment.
Yeah. But like I see a lot of myself in Damien, and I see a lot of my girlfriends, including you.
Especially,
as
yeah, when
Janice.
you're confused with your sexuality too. Like, I definitely feel like I've been attracted to women, or like I didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Because Janice is a lesbian in the movie, isn't she not?
No,
Or
she
is she
hooked up with
straight?
the brown guy at the end. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking that she had queer tendencies? I don't know.
She does
Or
have
maybe
like
because
a.
she was made fun of for that.
You haven't seen Mean Girl, have you?
I have, but I don't
Okay, it's
remember
been a while.
anything anymore. Oh no!
Bad fag
It's my
hag.
fag
Bad
hag.
fag hag.
Card be taken away.
But you know what, though? Speaking of celebrities, I
Yeah.
think that you have a game for me.
I do
about
have a little
celebrities,
game.
yeah?
I mean, this is just I tried to think of all of the different type of fag hag icons that
Oh?
have been around now before they just paved the way. But I'm curious to see where your affinity lies with these people. So
Okay.
I'm going to give you 2 female celebrities that are gay icons, fag hags in their own right. You tell me which one you would rather be friends with, hang out with, whatever.
Okay.
Ariana Grande or Dua Lipa?
Ariana Grande, because I just know her more. I've kind of aged out on like getting Dua Lipa. I like her music, but Ariana Grande, I get more. She's like, I don't know. Come on, that ponytail is everything.
Right.
I love seeing her whip it around. Yeah, Ariana.
Okay, so Ariana versus Lady Gaga.
Gaga.
Okay.
Yeah, Gaga's like
Right,
truly-
monsters, come on.
She's been an advocate for LGBT rights like since day one, since she came out. She was like working gay clubs in Manhattan when she was still Stephanie Giminata. Come on.
Lady Gaga versus Madonna.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think just given Madonna's been around for like 6 decades, literally. Madonna.
Okay, Madonna or Cher?
Ooh, Cher's older, right? Cher's older.
I have no idea who's older at this point.
No,
All
Cher's been like
amazing.
performing in like the 60s with like
Right.
Tina Turner.
Cher probably was.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cher.
Can I tell you that I touched Bob Mackey's ass?
Sorry, what?
I have been in the presence of Bob Mackey.
And you touched his ass.
I did, and we joked about it. I had to mic him. So I had to put like the microphone pack in his butt pocket.
Yeah.
And as I did it, I was just like, are you okay with me touching you everywhere? And he's like, oh yeah, you can. And then I put in there, I'm like, you're okay with me touching your butt? And he made it, he's like, it wouldn't be the first time a woman touched me, but it hasn't been happening in a long time. And I was like, yes, Bob.
Who's else? What other celebrity butts have you touched? Because this is the first story. First time I've heard.
I don't think I ever mic'd Joan Rivers, but she was the reason I would show up to work.
Yeah.
She did yell at me.
Yeah.
We know this story. She yelled at me to be quiet because I was talking too much.
And speaking of fag hag, she is like the ultimate fag hag.
She is. She wasn't on my list.
And she's like up there with I think in terms of like career span and the things that she's done, I think she rivals Cher. Frankly.
Okay, because then I would have just been like Cher or Joan Rivers.
Oh, that's a good one. The godfather of her daughter is gay, and like she's done a lot.
She
for the
embraced
gays.
it.
Oh yeah, like she embraced the identity as a fag hag. Yeah.
Do you have an answer?
No.
Okay, so let's just go back to Cher. Cher versus Judy Garland.
Ooh, again, but like
I know
Judy
she
Garland,
was the first though.
She was the first, and like have you heard of the expression "a friend of Dorothy"?
Yes. Yeah, I know. I learned that while I was looking this up.
There you go.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And the Stonewall riots happened the day after she passed away.
Or like a few days after.
Yeah.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal. Just that alone, like, while I respect Cher, like, Judy is like OG.
Okay.
Judy is OG.
All right, so we're going to go OG to new G. OG to NG, and that sounds weird. Judy Garland or Michelle Visage?
Michelle loves her gays. There's no question. Like, her best friend's RuPaul, right?
Yeah,
As they
I
say.
know.
Do you think they're actually best friends in real life?
I feel like they are.
Yeah. Like, they've had their ups and downs as, like, best friends do,
yes.
right? But, like, you
So
know
they
that they
haven't
ham it
done
up on camera, but, like, do you think, like, off camera, they're actually besties? I wonder.
It's a really good show they're putting on if they're not.
Yeah. There was, like, knife fights that her daughter, Liza Minnelli, had to, like, clean up.
It's so sad that that's what someone's life was.
Yeah.
I feel very privileged to not be there.
Right, and she was like fed drugs when she was like 12.
That's so terrible.
I think that they've stunted her growth, so that she remained youthful.
Oh my God, she was the pre-Britney Spears.
Yeah, she didn't even have a conservatorship,
Yeah,
but she was very
it's
much
essentially
like
a conservatorship. What happened to her, I guess.
hello patriarchy.
Okay, well, I'd like to say we did it.
We did it!
I did my first episode.
Yay! High five! High five!
Oh my God, this took so long, and I'm so happy that you were with me on this first episode, and we can talk about all this stuff. And we
sure.
actually had stuff to talk about.
Lots, and I'm sure that we could have gone for another hour or two, and I'm sure our listeners would have loved that.
Oh my God.
Fucking loved it.
So I want to thank you, John, a lot. Like, you have no idea how much you've done for me just with all of this and in my life, but thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Of
Wouldn't be
course.
anywhere else.
Yes. I am Shelly D, and this has been Just Out of Curiosity. I would like to thank you for tuning in today. Download, leave a review, follow, and share this episode and the podcast with your friends, family, really whomever you like. You can find me on Just Curiosity Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and you can email me at justcuriositypod@gmail.com, as I would absolutely love to know your thoughts, insights, comments, and all those juicy stories. But most of all, stay curious, friends. I'm Shelly D, and this has been Just Out of Curiosity.